No, I really don't care. I don't mind a little. I don't date men that didn't grow up with their fathers. I just don't. It's always outliers. There's always exceptions to the rule. But
Yeah.
the rule is a rule for a reason. And
Hmm.
the rule dictates that if he did not see his father being a father, what are the chances that he's going to be a positive role model for his kids?
Oh
What's the
yeah.
chances that he's going to be a husband if he's never seen what a husband looks like? I've done it before. I've dated guys that didn't have their dads, and it was not a positive experience. When I recognized that, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to date a guy that didn't grow up with his dad anymore. Positive.
Oh, I
And
love
that's the
it.
thing too. I think so many women are so afraid of setting a standard because it's going to eliminate a lot of men.
Yep.
But it doesn't matter if it eliminates most men, because you're not dating or marrying most men.
Right.
You're only dating or marrying one man. I think
Yeah.
elimination is your best tool.
Oh yeah.
Have high standards so that you eliminate most. So
Mhm.
then you don't have to go through your entire 20s, your 30s dating every single man.
It's an important standard, and I love that it's your preference. But man, that would cut out a lot of people. But I'm also nervous. Like, would it cut out 95% of black men? But here's the thing: I don't know the stats, so y'all don't kill me about it. But I
Yes.
really would like to know the stats of how many men grew up in a two-parent household. I'd be curious to know, or grew up with their fathers.
All right.
Mhm.
I know y'all saw that clip already. Go ahead, Ty.
I was gonna say I completely respect her decision, and I understand the mindset behind it, right? My only thing with that is that I didn't grow up in a two-parent household. So it's hard for me to go out there and say I will only date men that came from a two-parent household and you had to have your mother and father in the house in order for me to date you, because I didn't grow up like that. Now, just like what the gentleman was stating, when I was younger, I had to go through my own growth and understanding what that meant for me and the deficiencies that I had as a young woman. And I had to work on that. And because I know that I've grown as a person and now I understand how to deal with men, right? How to talk to a man, what a man is looking for. And I'm always trying to educate myself on things like that. I believe that there are also men who are capable, able, and are working on themselves as well. Maybe you didn't grow up with that. And once again, those are circumstances that we cannot control. I'm not going to condemn you for the rest of your life based on something that you cannot control. But are you working on it? Do you acknowledge that you have that deficiency? Do you realize that because you've never seen a husband that you might not know what that is? Do you realize that because you were lacking these things, maybe you need to go to counseling? Maybe you need to talk to someone. Maybe you need a mentor who is married to use as an example of what it means to have a healthy relationship. I think all of these things can be worked on. It's just like when you go into a career field. Maybe you've never done it before, you don't have the experience, but if someone can lay it out for you, you're open to learning, to making mistakes and growing from it, and you actually pick up that information and run with it, then you have the possibility of becoming excellent at that position, at that job. So I'm not going to condemn a man once again just because he didn't grow up with that. It's a circumstance you can't control.
Yeah, I like that. I actually grew up with my grandfather. My father, he was in my life when I was younger, but he wasn't there when I was older. But I do think that it takes a certain type of father, because you can have a father in the house. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to produce a positive or a level-headed human being, whether it be a daughter or whether it be a son. So I think who that person is within his household plays a very crucial role as far as how that child turns out.
Mhm.
Go ahead, Kelly. You want to say something?
I think you can deal with a man who didn't have his father or father figure, but if he's unwilling to accept the fact that you see things that aren't right with him, it's just never going to work,
Mhm.
because most people don't feel like they have a problem. They don't feel like they need to, improve. They feel like they're good. So that's where you run into the challenge. So a person has to be open and willing. They have to desire change. They have to desire improvement. If they don't desire that, then they are just not the one for you.
Yeah.
I got a question for, do you think it's fair to judge a man based on his upbringing, particularly his relationship with his father when considering him as a partner? Do you think it's fair?
Oh no, I don't think that's fair.
Mm-mm.
No, I don't think that's fair because, like I always say, everything is circumstantial. So you'll have interest to either look deep, or you just will say, you know what, that's okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
And that's kind of dismissive. So you're really not interested if you don't even take that time to see, who that person is and what they're about. So no, like, it's not fair.
Mm-hmm. Totally agree.
It's judgmental, and that's not right.
Yes. Yes. Now, of course, you can have your own standards, right? You can decide that there are certain things that you're just not going to deal with. But just as Kelly stated, we also have to be willing to understand people's story. Everyone has one. Everyone has a past. Everyone has things that they've gone through. Everyone has situations. Then you have to be willing to listen to that person and figure out, why don't you have a good relationship with your father? What happened in your past that makes you feel the way that you feel? It might be something traumatic. It might be something that's unforgivable. We don't know. But if you automatically judge a book off of its cover rather than opening it up, and getting to know that person and figuring it out, then you're doing yourself and that person a disservice.
Yeah, and it's okay to have deal breakers. So I'm not mad at the young lady who made her statement. It's okay, because you can waste a lot of time giving people the benefit of the doubt when you already feel like, hey, I don't like this about men. And then you give them the chance, and then you get disappointed. So it just depends on what direction you want your life to go in. If you don't want to waste no time and you feel a certain way about a person, move on.
My only thing is, if you're going to do that, then be realistic with yourself as well, right?
Yeah.
So if you're going to
Yeah.
precedent that this person has to come from a two-parent household, do you come from a two-parent household? Are you well-rounded as a woman?
Right.
Do you know how to treat a man? If you're going to come to the table with all of these, characteristics that this
Standards.
has the right
Hmm.
standard that this person has to follow, you have to make sure that you can match it.
Yes.
And I think that's a huge issue, or at least what's publicized on social media, right? When it comes to women, is that they have these huge standards and very high standards for men, but they don't necessarily meet them, and vice versa. Like, men expect these certain things from women, but they don't necessarily meet them. I think in the real world, right, a lot of us like to address relationships and situations from a mindset of, this is what I know I bring to the table, so that's what I expect of you.